Malala Yousafzai accepts her Nobel Peace Prize. She won the Nobel Peace Prize. She's the youngest and the first Pakistani woman to ever win this award, and she is sharing this award with Kailash Satyarthi. I hope I'm saying that right. He's also a child's rights activist, and they both have done so much for so many people, and they are such inspiring human beings, and I am thrilled to be talking about it today. And we're going to take a look at her speech, which is so moving, Malala's speech. So let's throw right to it.
And it gives a message to people. It gives a message to people of love between Pakistan and India, and between different religions. And we both support each other. It does not matter what's the color of your skin, what language do you speak, what religion you believe in. It is that we should all consider each other as human beings, and we should respect each other. And we should all fight for our rights, for the rights of children, for the rights of women, and for the rights of every human being.
There's a part in her speech where she says, "Dear brothers and sisters, the so-called world of adults may understand it, but we children don't. Why is it that countries which we call strong are so powerful in creating wars, but so weak in bringing peace? Why is it that giving guns is so easy, but giving books is so hard? Why is it that making tanks is so easy, but building schools is so difficult?" So as you know, Malala is a human rights activist, but mostly for children getting an education, and for women in particular getting an education. And she blows my mind. Let's just talk about her in general, this award. What do you guys think?
I think she completely encapsulates the fact of the matter, which is giving guns is just easier than trying to get into people's minds and get them to think a certain way. And the worst part about it is giving guns makes it harder to convince people to stop making war.
And the fact, too, just her story that she was shot by the Taliban because she was standing up to have education for the people in her area, for children, for everybody to have an education, for women particularly, you know, because the Taliban's not in favor of that. So for her, when they were, at the time, when they were occupying her neighborhood or her area, she was giving reports to different news outlets, knowing that the Taliban were against it and were there. Do you know how brave that is? So, of course, she knew she had a target on her back, especially because I think her parents were the heads of, like, a number of schools in that area. So they were also advocates for education. But for her to know that at such a young age and know that she could be a target and then became a target, she was shot at 3 times. I think she was only physically shot once. Well, and she almost died because she was speaking out.
And her friends died, and then she continued to speak out after that.
Well, true power is knowledge, and her speech encapsulates it perfectly. As you said, it's easier to give guns because if you give someone a book, they're smart enough to know if they want to put the gun down or if they want to not believe in the religion that's telling them that they should not go to school. So her story is powerful, one, because she's so young. At 17, when other 17-year-olds are doing God knows what, at God knows when, and all that kind of stuff, she's actually standing up for something that is so basic to all of us in the United States, just going to, like, public school and not worrying about being shot at. But more importantly, I think it's important that a show like ours talks about it because we're on the mediums that kids are, like, we're disseminated. Cell phone, Hulu, YouTube, like, you see us the way kids see us. And I think adults, for the longest time, feel that these kids have nothing to say. And there are kids out there that not only have a lot to say, are doing a lot and are willing to stand up to you and say, you're not doing enough. And in her speech, she says it, you're not doing it enough. And if you could, just explain to me why you're not. I thought
she's willing to die for it. That's what's great. She's willing to die for her cause.
I'll explain why I'm not doing anything. I don't know what to do.
I
mean, that's the tough part. I don't know what to do.
That makes sense because society tells us that things are the way they are. Like, we can't change things, and to just accept things for the way they are. And accept people for the way they are. And I think that is such bullshit. I think if you have something that you're championing for, like a right or an issue, we have the ability and the power, especially through social media, to speak up about this and to fight as hard as we possibly can, especially young people out there. Adults really underestimate the power that we have.
Well, I think to be fair, there are a lot of young people that do a lot of stupid stuff. And, and you know what? Hey, put them over there. But the people that created social media they're not that old.
Yeah.
Okay, so the people that are governing the way you talk to people, the way you see them, the way your information is even given to you, those are young people.
Right.
So before we start like throwing them out, that's why I disagree. I said I disagree. I think society wants change. I think society advocates change. And as you said, social media has made us so interconnected that everything is news. Like the Golden Globes, the Golden Globes is news. That's the Hollywood Foreign Press. Yeah. And I can be in Idaho and know what they're voting on. I couldn't do that 20 years ago. We're talking about kissing and the New York Times. That's news because the New York Times is one of the still reputable newspapers on the planet when everything has gone digital, and they're going to putting things online. So everything is now news. Everything is consumable.
Everything's in a hashtag, which is so crazy. You can Eric Garner, Mike Brown, like it's unbelievable that through hashtags you can figure out where a protest is, or you can figure out how to sign certain petitions, so you can change legislation. So there is a lot of change.
But with that comes also, like, kind of sometimes the laziness. Like, I've done my part by tweeting out a hashtag instead of, you know, the issues that really mean something to you, instead of really using your voice and speaking up and talking about it and encouraging your family and friends. For instance, if you want to, like women's issues or against sexual assault, if you really want to change the world, don't be silent in those groups of people when you're out in public and people have an opinion or someone's being bullied. If your silence is not powerful.
Right. No, your silence makes you just as guilty.
Exactly.
Let's call it what it is. Your silence is just as guilty, because if you see something wrong happening and you turn your head, you're just as guilty as the people doing it. And in my opinion, you're way more guilty because you know better and you chose to do nothing. Those people that are doing the evil may not know better. You do, and you chose to look away. That makes you more guilty in my book. This girl is special because she's speaking up. And when we say we don't know what to do, let's say we do 1/100th of the risk that she's taking, which is her life, so that women in Pakistan can be educated. Let's just volunteer at your local clinic, your local food drive, your local blood bank, your local school, your local charity shelter. There are things you can do.
Even
your wardrobe.
Just by
give something back to the Salvation Army. To say that you don't know what to do is not enough, because we do know what to do. We just choose not to do it.
Take it off of Twitter.
What do I do? What do I do to help women in Pakistan get educations?
How about help women here? Help women here.
But I want
there has to be.
This is what I'm focusing on when I say I don't know what to do.
I believe there's already an initiative in place because of the United Nations, because of Malala. So thank God that initiative is already underway.
Yes, that was literally my question. Is I want to know what the next step is now that I know about her.
Okay, so there is the Malala Fund, which you can go to, be a part of. I've signed up. I'm a part of it. You can donate money, or you can help raise money. What Malala is doing is she's giving $50,000, her prize money from this, and she's giving it to a school. It's a let me look this up. She's rebuilding a UNRWA school that was damaged during the fighting in Gaza. That's what she's doing with her money. So you can join that effort if that's an issue that you want to participate in. You can find ways. You can go visit the schools. You can go talk to children. You can go encourage education for the youth. There are so many things that you can get out of your house and do if you actually want to participate.
And I don't think you have to go, I don't even think you have to give money to her fund. And here's why I say that. You can if you want to. But she is doing her most to change her surrounding where she lives. If you really want to follow her example, do your most to change your community where you live. So you don't have to give money to her fund and say, oh my God, I've done something big. Just walk outside your front door and look at we live in LA. LA Unified School District.
They've cut art programs, music programs. If you're talented and artistic.
You're talented and artistic.
You can go volunteer your time. I used to do that at the, believe it or not, the West Hollywood Elementary School cut their art program. So every Thursday, I taught art for an hour. I'm not even a great artist, but you know,
participated.
But it made me feel good. But I was teaching these kids certain skills with how to do art.
And young people keep watching shows like this because when we bring you news, like we bring you information, we bring you stories that not only matter in the big scheme of things, but they matter to you, because not only are you the consumer, but you're the creator of all of this. Like, we're coming across your airwaves that you have made. Stand up for yourself and be proud of what you've done.
Yes.
This girl is more, it's just, she's proud to know.
Right. I commend her parents too. Her parents are extraordinary. So it just goes to show how important it is to be such a great example to your children and what you can build, essentially, because they are absolutely extraordinary people themselves.
And when we're talking about the things you can do next, look in the comments, look in the description below, because I'm sure we're going to paste like the links to her foundation and other foundations. And I think what I like about what you're saying about the dissemination of information, social media, is there's different levels of involvement you can take. And just because you're not as involved in one initiative doesn't mean you can't spearhead another, and vice versa. And it is about getting that word out so that you can take the step wherever you feel comfortable taking it. And the more steps you take at the lower levels, the more confident you'll be to eventually take big steps at the higher ones.
Well said.
So I guess the way I want to end this is, Boop Troop, I am challenging you guys to find an issue that means a lot to you personally. It can be animals, it can be women, it can be children and education, it can be whatever means something to you. Find what it is, write it down in the comment section below. Let's have a kind, respectful, meaningful discussion. Let's talk about ways we can get involved and help out and raise our voices, because Malala inspires me all the time, and I hope that she can inspire all of us. So let's take a look at all of that, and be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. And we will see you all next time.